It's whoa! I flew right out of the O. Talk about perfect timing on that edit. Wow! I went into the O of Geno. Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are on Zoom and we are live on YouTube. I'm watching it over here. We sorted out the handful of hurdles for the tech and the sound. 100% GenoMania 27. We have Carlos and Yinhao Yeep in the house as our guinea pigs. Gino's in the back going, no, no, no. I'm going to ask to unmute the man of the hour, the one, the only, Gino DeVille.
No, 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 no. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. It's like I'm standing on the stage with you while you're giving me my introduction. Like everyone can see me. I'm just sort of standing there holding my arms like this and going, Gino, and I'm already here. It's very Trey bizarre, looking at myself in the little window.
Well, that's why you use the little things, I mean, look, watch. You see my picture? Right. Now you see me?
Yes.
Now you don't.
Yes. Ah, would you look at that? How amazing.
So when you're in the backstage, nobody sees you. Yeah. And then you say, here I am.
So if I was to do that, but not now, you see, because I've gone, but then I come back again. Yay. How Trey bizarre. Wow. Here we are. We got there in the end. I don't know what on earth was going on with that sound, but we got there in the end. Morning, Carlos David, or Mr. Carlos, Mr. David Carlos, whichever way. I still don't know which way round it is. And here he is. There he is. Look at that in the is that in the Millennium Falcon? Are you in the spaceship there? Mr. Yim, are you in the spaceship? That looks like you're in the spaceship. Well, there we are. This is really bizarre. Well, here we are. Welcome to GenoMania.
You are, dude. Look at this.
It's a spaceship.
Like ready to fly. See, this is the cool thing. Now I can spot people as we're talking. I can spotlight you.
That is really cool. But
yeah.
That's it. A nice smile, because I'll tell you, if I was in a spaceship, I'd be smiling. But that's very. I like that a lot. Well, here we go. We are off and rolling in a different way. Yes, directly to Zoom and streaming live to Facebook for the first time. So we're giving that an idea. Well, we've got a crazy show
YouTube. Now
we're
ditching Facebook. We're ditching Facebook. We're streaming straight to YouTube.
Right. Well, I tell you what. Why don't you come onto the stage now, then, Jay, and we can kick things off, because obviously we don't want to overlap each other. So there we are. Hello. Okay. All nice graphics there.
I'm watching the YouTube feed. It doesn't seem that much different than the Facebook, meaning there's about 5-6 second delay, maybe 10 seconds. I still see you talking, but yeah, we're up to speed, dude.
Cool. That's rather groovy. All right. Well, we know this works then, don't we? Well, we will kick straight into it. Right. So, okay. What's going on? So the big news this week, before we jump into the meat and gravy, is, of course, this weekend's convention. Yes, everybody, we all decided that we were all going to sort of donate our times for free. And so that means that everybody is coming for free. And the tickets have been racing out the door. And all I can say is, oh, cheapskates, unbelievable. In the last 24 hours, oh my God, cheapskates of the magic community. This is an amazing thing been going on, and nobody's been sort of walking up to the door. In the last 24 hours since I said it's free, people are phoning me. People have even come to my house, knocking on the door, saying, well, can I have a ticket? Unbelievable. And I live in China, so that's really random. Yeah, people flew in from Texas, came to my private island, knocked on my door and said, hey, can I have a ticket? So anyway, yeah, it's going to be wild. Jay, you can tell us more about it, because obviously you are the main producer of this. So I'm still not exactly sure of the running order, so it's going to be wild. But once we get this out of the way, we've got a crazy store. I've got the most awesome rant for later on. It's brilliant. But there it is. Yes. So the 14th and the 15th, originally speaking, it was going to be over the 2 days. Now, of course, the 14th is really going to be more of a tech run and informal chit chat. So anyone is welcome to join us. But the real meat and gravy is going to be on the 15th. Jay, where are you? Because actually speaking,
I'm here. I'm just rolling. I'm here. I'm behind the scenes. I'm behind the scenes.
So why don't you give us a kind of a more of a rundown on exactly what's going to happen on the 15th? Because it's all a bit crazy.
Yeah, the 15th, we're doing at least a 2-hour preview. So a 2-hour preview, but it's actually a proper event. But like this, we'll sort of kind of make sure everyone's mic is on ahead of time. So 3 p.m.
No,
theory.
The 15th. The 15th.
Oh, the 14th. I'm talking about Saturday, the 14th.
No, I said what's happening on the 15th.
Well, I'm telling you first because Saturday comes before Sunday. Let me tell you.
Well, I asked you what is happening on the 15th.
The 15th. We start at 2 p.m. We go till 10 p.m. We have a spot. We have the introduction, the beginning, the welcome everyone, the kind of initial celebration. Hopefully we'll have Captain Bill Grosscup on special interview. We got Frank. We got everyone joining. We have a spotlight on Doc Eason. We have a spotlight on Max Howard. We have interviews and talking about that. We're going to do the Sam the Bellhop, the initial section of the Sam the Bellhop performance and explanation on the Saturday, partly because Greg Gleason can only be there on Saturday because he's attending Magic Live. So then we're going to sort of follow up from that. Michael Amar, he suggested also focusing on the Chicago opener. And so he sort of said, as well as Sam the Bellhop, Chicago opener is named for that very reason. It was one of the original bar magic routines. So Michael Amar, Doc, Frank, and the others will jump in and we'll do demonstrations and performance on that. And then that leads us up to the live performance at the bar with Frank. And literally it seems very promising that we'll get the camera, the bird's eye view of seeing Frank and John Johnson and others performing live at Frank's bar. And then they also have the stage performance and big celebration of the 25th anniversary. Woo!
That's going to be wild. And wow, I can't believe that actually speaking, I was standing in for Frank an awful lot back in 2001 when I was living in Key West on my boat. And wow, I've got my own stories of that. Just in case, welcome, George. Yeah. Don't look tired. Don't try and give it all the, I'm tired business. No, look, if you're here, you're going to be attentive, I say. Yes.
I mean, it is 4 a.m. to be fair.
Don't care.
So it's 4 a.m. I've only come on to see you two and say hello.
No. Don't care. If you're going to attend, you attend. You're bright and home. See, the reason I'm being really nasty
is because I missed that very opening.
Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
Because Sam the Bellhop and Chicago Opener are two of my favourite routines anyway. Is that all going to be on Zoom? I just missed the opening.
Yes. So this is sort of a test where we have up to 100 people I can get into Zoom, but we have 10 performers. So we're going to sort of max it at 85 or whatever who can get on Zoom. Then we'll overflow to YouTube, just like we're doing it here. That's the test. So some of it is, the feeling with everyone is they wanted to leave a little bit of improv open because we're all these performers here. If anyone wants to say, hey, let me show you this thing, that this is what I did behind the bar, Geno can say, here's what I did when I was behind the bar, and all sort of relating it to stories of either Frank's Magic Bar in Key West, the Key West area, the Paladin Magic Shop. Greg Otto spent a lot of time there. He's going to tell us stories about that. And then also anything relating back to the original Ivanhoe bar where really bar magic began. This is,
awesome.
One can't underestimate the importance of this story, because had not the Ivanhoe and Frank Sr. and these other performers, I literally, Doc just sent me a photo of the Ivanhoe bar with Di Vernon as one of the spectators. Literally, he's sitting there watching the performance. I'm going, holy moly, that's Di Vernon. So serious history.
I was in a Zoom lecture recently, and Doc Eaton just did a little random set. It was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm getting
legend.
Doc.
Absolute legend.
I'm getting Doc all set up with OBS, so he's multi-camera. He'll be able to switch between cameras. I'm getting his tech set up. So part of it is me pulling all the pieces together. But on the celebration day, we're going to have a lot of, because it's interactive, they'll be open for questions and answers and breakout rooms. We'll have like 3 times during the session for half-hour breakouts, either for just chill and whatever. Geno will be flogging his stuff on the GenoMania page. You can talk to Mike.
Geno be selling his rubbish.
Yeah,
pretty much. Hey, that's my rubbish too. Hey.
I was just about to say, do you know that 75% of Doomville Magic stock is JSB stuff? Thank you very much.
That's why I said my rubbish.
I'm only teasing you. I'm only teasing you two.
Now, just for anybody else that happened to be wondering where this banter's coming from, it's because he supports the most ridiculous football team on the planet.
No, I don't support West Ham.
Oh, it's ridiculous, dude. His father and his sister support West Ham United, which is my team from birth, and he supports Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, for American people that want to have a standpoint of that, that would be like the father and the sister supporting the Giants, and George supporting the Bronx kindergarten team.
I would say it's more like Cubs and Sox, but.
Oh, come on. Anyway, another conversation. This is GenoMania. It's about magic. No, don't spotlight him.
I'm letting you two go for it. Come on, you want to argue football? Take the spotlight.
No, we're not.
All I'm going to say is, when did West Ham ever beat Brighton in the Premier League?
I'm sorry. Can you let's move on right now? Let's move on. Let's move on, because there is a long, drawn-out conversation there. You see, because it's actually only in the last 2 years that they made it to the Premier League. That's the reason. But there you go.
6 years.
I didn't realize this was going to be a football discussion, but.
Yeah, we've lost you now because of football. So let's move straight on. Right. So now.
Sorry, I'm just being a tease.
Okay. So let's move straight on into the meat and gravy of this week's things that really all magicians should know. Yes. Okay, right. Were you? Oh, hello. Were you getting any sound during that credit roll then? Because for some reason I was getting absolutely no. I was getting no sound at all on that one. How très bizarre. Right then. Oh, who's that joined? Who's wandered in there? Who's this? Hello, Ace is here. Hello, Ace. Right. So welcome back, David. Now then. Oh, Carlos, I still don't know. Is it Carlos David? Let me just get that out of the way. Is your Carlos David? Because I know we joke about this on a regular basis, but
it's Carlos David.
Right, now I know, because
it is Carlos David.
Groovy. Well, Mr. David, you shall now be known. Right, so this week's all things that magicians should know. Right. Over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of chit-chat about cruise life, cruise contracts, cruise things, this sort of thing. So one thing a lot of people have asked me, now Joel Spence from Australia, who's not with us at the moment, but he's been messaging me crazy about this.
He is. Joel's here. Ace. Ace is Joel.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, hello. So, Joel, welcome. Good day, mate. Hi. I didn't know you were Ace. Right, so a lot of people and Joel have been asking about what happens if you lose your luggage. So there is no real rule for this. There is absolutely no rule for this. However, the thing that you need to bear in mind is that very often, as a guest entertainer aboard a cruise ship, You get on, you will be asked by the CD, cruise director, to do a sound check in the afternoon and maybe a show that night. So you do need to kind of like have your wits about you. And there's been a lot of people, touch wood, it's never happened to me ever, but I know countless people that it happened to. They've lost their luggage and they've lost their show. So they're running around trying to find something. Now, as magicians, we have a lot easier than, say, jugglers, because a lot of jugglers' props are quite large. So what I've done is I've thrown together literally a pocket full of stuff that I could, if needed, make a 45-minute set out of. Now, there are no rules. There really, really are no rules. Now, a very dear friend of mine, he's a Londoner like me, but he settled in Australia, called Nick Nicholas. For years, he was one of the busiest Australasia cruise ship workers. Now, Nick uses a vest when he travels. I think it's called a Scotty vest. It's like an outdoorsman's type vest. And there's about 80 pockets in it. And in there, he puts his iPads, he puts his passports, he puts his phones. But then he starts loading it up. And one day on Facebook, if you're a friend of Nick Nicholas and you track back about 3 years, he actually did an unboxing video of his Scotty vest in his stateroom aboard a cruise ship. And the amount of crap that was in the pockets is unbelievable, how much you can get in this. And he travels in this. But way, way huge. I mean, he had cups and balls, his fake tennis balls, you name it, wands. Oh my goodness, so much, but not so needed. If I was packing my little man bag that has my phone and my iPad and my essentials in for travel, I will always put this kind of stuff in the bottom of it. So again, there are absolutely no rules. However, a length of rope. Now, funnily enough, I use green rope and I'm on a green screen, so you can't even see it, but I've just got a length of rope. The amount of stuff you can do with a length of rope, as long as you know what you're doing with a length of rope, is huge, absolutely huge. And we're not just talking, you know, fiber optics type stuff. There's so much. I do escapes with rope. I do routines of one-handed knots, all sorts of stuff, because it's all about the routining. So I can literally get a good 10 minutes of solid material out of rope outside of my normal routines if I had to. I will. I'm one of the people for years that have actually used JSB's cloaking device gimmicks. I was one years and years ago. I had Sonata gimmicks in my bottom drawer like so many others, never really saw the benefit of it. And then I saw Jay's work years and years ago and started using it. So I carry a couple of cloaking devices with ribbon, literally some rolls of ribbon for my routine there. Totally small. Prediction papers. This is the sort of like 6-out prediction sheet. Again, this is the close-up version. Totally small. End of any prediction routine. Literally 5 minutes store in my room. I can come up with a routine for that. Then, of course, I've got cards. I take 2 red decks and a blue deck, or 2 blue decks and a red deck, or even or whatever, really, because then I can use dupes if I need to. Cards across, all sorts of things can easily be done with that. Nowadays, the beautiful thing about nowadays on the cruise ships is all cruise ships have really good tech. So table close-up with video screens is absolutely the common norm. So nowadays, I always put some coin gaffs, you know, pack a set half dollars, full dollars, anything small into there, and easily, if needed, I can throw a 45-minute set together. It's so easy, as long as you have it upstairs in the beginning. Now, most of this stuff is not normal in my own shows, but I do sort of sit down over the 4 decades I've been sort of working pro. I've got routines that I haven't done. I mean, I haven't actually done my cards across routine in my stand-up show for years, but it's always there if I needed it. And that's the sort of stuff, Joel, that's the sort of stuff that's literally, it's tiny. It fits in your pockets, but if you need it, it's there. It's just a question about sitting down, writing out a set list, boom, and you've got it. And that gets you through. Of course, on cruise ships, if your luggage is lost, cruise directors are, a lot more sympathetic. So if your show is a little bit on that, you can sort of get away with it. So it's not too much. It's not too much of a problem if it's not the most solid, tight show in the world. But under normal circumstances, you need to make sure your absolute show is rock solid, Joel. So, like I say, that's kind of this week's tech tips, if you will, on cruise ships if your luggage is lost. Jay, what's going on here?
Okay. In the meantime, while that happened, I was able to get over to YouTube, enable the chat. First thing I realized, yes. YouTube now has gone through this ridiculously. If they decide it's a made-for-kids video, they shut the chat off. So you literally have to go to a special setting and say, no, it's not made for kids. Go figure. I don't understand the logic of it all, but you are officially not made for kids, and therefore the chat window is now open on YouTube. So that was one of our first troubleshooting. I did that in real time while you were yapping away about some nonsense of cruise ship stuff. I wasn't listening. Ba-dum-bum.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that was good. 100%. I would agree. I agree completely. And, I agree. Look, having this ability, to improvise, I'm doing all these things and teaching individual students and stuff. This is that if you get to your gig and you have nothing, how can you prep in 30 minutes with what's behind the bar, in the restaurant, behind the counter, things that, as you've said, in the gift shop, and to turn it into a professional show and to somewhat be prepared? Half of it's just knowing that this could happen sooner or later. It will happen. So I'm actually doing a whole bunch of designing of those systems right now as well to teach others.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you. I got 100 stories of this sort of things over my career, but I can tell you one time I was doing close up in Dubai. This was back in the 90s, and it was in a very, very large hotel room. There's about 2,000 seats. So I was doing like a long restaurant close up through this very nice banquet. And they turned around and said, "Oh, look, we've got a problem. One of the cabaret artists that we've got on stage hasn't arrived. Can you help?" Now, this was in the morning, so they were supposed to be flying in from another country, and I don't know what happened, missed the flight or whatever, and they said, "Look, can you help? We'll double your fee." Now, actually speaking, in a situation like that, it's not so much about the money, it's more about the fact of if you can pull something off to help them, then that makes you look like a king, and that is really good for future bookings. And I was doing a lot of work in Dubai in those days. So I thought, okay, what can I do? What can I do that fills a stage in about 8 hours to get it ready in a room for like a 2,000 seater, like there was literally 200 tables in there, huge big function room in one of the 5-6 star hotels in Dubai. And I didn't have anything with me at all, big wise, like stage wise, nothing. So I came up with this idea of this card reveal. And actually speaking, I made the most ridiculously small card. I was up to the VIP table, front table, give the deck of cards, they select a card, signed a card, I brought back the card, but then, and this was the big thing, I did now, actually speaking, most recently, I think on certain TV shows, you saw Shin Lim do a routine with the 10 of hearts. Now, basically what he's doing, he's just literally doing an ambitious card routine, then card pick changes, and it's all very small tabletop stuff. But then the 10 of hearts starts appearing on video screens, and then it starts coming out from the chandeliers, and then hearts fall down from all over the place, and it appears all over the place. Well, this is pretty much the same kind of thing as I did in the 90s. There was a video wall there, which I got the chosen card onto. I got the people from the maintenance department in the hotel to help me paint a 10 of hearts on a large double bed sheet, which I put on a roller blind with literally, I sewed in some bolts at the bottom of it that I found to give it some weight. And at the right moment, I pulled out a peg and the thing went down, and it was this massive, great card. And it was just like throwing it together, and we pulled it off. We pulled off something that was kind of like, whoa, wow, that's okay. And it did the job. But yeah, now jugglers on cruise ships, just to finish, jugglers on cruise ships, oh my goodness, I've known them running around the ship all afternoon, finding anything that they can throw and catch. Throughout the kitchens, fruit, spatulas. A friend of mine from England, Steve Rawlings, does a routine with plates. So he's actually taken dining plates from the kitchens and he's doing his plate routine with those. It's just a question about sitting down, taking a step back and going, right, what can I do? And yeah, and it's not just cruise ships. It happens in many situations, like Jay said.
Okay.
So yeah.
Point taken. Thank you for all that information, Geno. Fantastic.
Right. So now, okay, let's move on. This week, something rather special. This is kind of cool. In magic, there are many, many classics. There are all sorts of classics. And this is the point, things that all magicians should know. This week is a bit of a doozy. A lot of people learn this effect at the beginning of their magical journey and then push it to one side as being a bit of a not important. But trust me, this is a classic and this can stay with you in shows throughout your entire magical journey. Of course, I'm talking about Professor's Nightmare. Right. So many people do it. So many people use it as a little throwaway in the kids' shows. Check out the one and only Mr. Michael Finney and his Professor's Nightmare. This is awesome.
I travel around quite a bit, and I find that most people don't even know what an illusion is. Now, I'm not an illusionist, and most people, even I could tell you I was, and you wouldn't know because most people don't know what an illusion is. And I'll give you an example. What would be your definition of an illusion? I'll get back to you. What would be your definition of an illusion?
Something that happens but didn't happen.
Like a good relationship. You're not too far off. What would be your definition of an illusion?
Something that appears a certain way but isn't really that way.
Very close, closer than the two gentlemen. But women know more about reality than we do. To me, an illusion is only something that appears to be happening. For in your mind and physically, you know it's impossible and it cannot be done. Much like when David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear. Although on that night he was wearing long sleeves and a trench coat. I'm not saying where the statue went, but this looked awfully suspicious to me. Unlike any other magician you'll ever see, I allow you to examine my props. So for this one moment, I am going to hand you this. This is a short piece of rope. You may examine that. This is probably the medium piece of rope. You may examine that, and this is a long piece of rope. Basically, the reason I pass these out is so the rest of the audience realizes that all I'm using are 3 different lengths of rope. They're not gimmick or tricked up in any way, and basically are made up of the same material. The only thing that makes them different are their length. Would you agree?
Yes.
Now, if you think I have separated them for some mysterious reason, please feel free to mingle. Leave it to a woman. She's not very trusting soul. All right. So this is a short piece of rope, this is a medium piece of rope, and this is a long piece of rope. And the way this trick originated is when I was in high school. We had a professor come over once a week from the college. This man was always baffling me with his mathematical problems. Whenever I got the chance, I would try to fool him. I said, Professor, did you know the 3 pieces of rope were all the same length? He said, Michael, did you know you were flunking this class? I hated that guy. I said, Professor, watch closely. When you bring the short piece of rope to the top like this, when you bring the medium piece of rope to the top like this, and when you bring the long piece of rope to the top like this, you could agree from my thumb up, they might be the same length. Huh? Dead silence then, dead silence now. As you can see, the silence doesn't bother me anymore. I said, Professor, watch closely because it's only when you tug on the ropes is when they look like they all 3 become the same length. And that's when I showed him that I had one piece of rope, and that I had two pieces of rope, and that I had a third piece of rope, all the same length. He then turned to me after the near deafening applause. You people are so spontaneous. He said, Michael, that's physically impossible. How did you do that? And I said, Professor, to tell you the truth, every time I've ever done this trick, I've always started off with this, the short piece of rope first, the medium piece of rope second, and I save the long piece in case I screw up. And I have to start over again.
And there he is. Wow. How about that? I mean, wow. Absolutely, absolutely awesome. Michael Finney, one of the great comedy magicians still floating around, actually speaking, but it just proves that literally something that is so often dismissed as just the first trick that we ever learn can actually be used on the biggest stages and play absolutely awesome. Jay, what's your opinion, my friend? Oh, have I locked up?
Joe, I think you're on mute, mate.
I'm unmuted. There we go. There we go. Thanks. Professor's Nightmare is definitely on my A list. And I teach this as well. I try to, a number of the students, I'll say, look, if you don't know this, absolutely have to learn it. That was a great example. Hold on, let me let someone in here admit. Number one, for roving strolling, it's an absolute killer. Pack small, plays big, fits in your pocket, resets, everything's examined. It angle proof, so it covers all of what I consider the criteria. And the only ones that question it are the magicians. The lay people love it. It's all about, it's a great entertainment piece. You can be risque with the adults if they're drinking and stuff, and you say, ropes normally found in an average bedroom. Let me show you some trick knots. There's so much fun you can have with it. And of course, the effect itself. Basic, come on. I don't care if it's a beginner effect or not, or whatever anyone wants to count it. I do mostly original stuff. There are probably two effects that I use that are classics, and absolutely Professor's Nightmare is one of them. So
what's the other one, Jay?
What's the other one?
Yeah, you said you do two classic effects.
I do what would be called either nudist deck or mental photography.
Mental, okay.
Again, my own moves, my own handling. I get rid of all of the usual. It's like with everything. I get rid of all the tells. The problem with the mental photography is the Svengali, the tell, the move that everyone knows. So I don't use any of those. And it's, but again, I've done thousands of times in roving and strolling, and it's an effect that has lots of punches. You start out with, I say, look, I've been told that I'm not playing with a full deck. But enough about my ex-wife. You have all these like lines I can pull depending off their kids, whether they're straight or rather with adults, whatever. But you pull out, and it's true. I must admit, you're right. Not my deck is blank, so it's an empty deck. So I'm not playing with a full deck. And then I go into the slow reveal, and nice waterfall productions of all the cards. And there's a dozen moments of wonder within a routine that can go from either 1 minute or so all the way up to two to 3 minutes. I have a double-sided blank that I have as part of it. So I can start out and actually hand out the double-sided blank because they always say, oh, can I touch it? So I got all these different variations. But the body of the effect, for lay people, it's absolute killer. I put it away and it's ready to go again. Criteria for roving strolling for me, fits in the pocket. I know it, pocket management, everything's there. Strong, visual, angle proof, reset. Simple. So you're nonstop. So those are the two: Professor's Nightmare and mental photography.
Mental photography.
Always on my.
I just wondered what the second one was. That was all because you said you had two. So I was curious.
Yeah. It kills. Some people prefer, they'll do like invisible deck. And again, I don't diss anyone if they can do a great invisible deck routine as an alternative, that sort of thing. It's like, absolutely.
Right, because my go-to is ambitious card.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can make it last 30 seconds to 5 minutes depending on the crowd.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
No, but that is part of the thing. We won't go too far into the roving strolling here, but I completely agree. It's always a jazz. It's an improv. You go up, you don't know if you're going to have a minute with that table, 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe longer. I find it's necessary to have each effect that can expand or contract. You're right in the middle and the meal's getting served. All of a sudden, here comes the waitress and all the food. You got to be able to go, boom, and that's it. Thank you very much. I'll be back a bit later. I always do a production of my business card that we'll talk about on a different, maybe next week. All right, Geno, you ready to come back?
I was just curious, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
He's back.
I'm not sure what happened. I think I got kicked out. It's all a bit weird today. This whole YouTube thing seems to
why
be
we're testing it. Good.
A little bit.
This is all we are all guinea pigs once again.
Indeed, Jeff is here. Jeff in Australia is here from the Magic Inn. He is here, but not on video. So he is listening because he's at work at the moment. So hello, Jeff. Awesome to see you, buddy. Yeah, wow. Listen, not going into the whole strolling because that's coming in a couple of weeks anyway. But your line that you just finished off with there, mate, as far as the food arrives, so you need to wrap up quickly. Oh my goodness gracious me, that in itself is a whole. That's hours worth of conversation between people who know and people who don't, because it's a hilarious thing. The amount of time you see new people working restaurant close-up and that happens and the ego comes out and it's a fight between them and the waiters on the hot food and it's like, oh my Lord. But anyway, there you go. Well,
the reason you're there is the food. The waiter, you do not in any way, always you're secondary to the food and the drinks. I just step out of the way, say, I've made the food appear. What's
ego does not come into it in any way. But anyway,
leave the ego outside.
I got kicked out, but now I'm back, and now it's time. It's time, Jay. It's time for your favourite bit. La 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 la.
I'm disappearing.
La, la, la. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh, are you ready? Yes, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gender fluid people and others, and cats and dogs, because everything seems to have to be thrown out now. It is that time again for What Gets Your Goat. Jay, do we have one today? Do we? Oh, look at that one. I think I know her. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, wow. Okay, so this, if you are, oh my Lord, look at those teeth. Hello, dear. How are you? So, if you are unfamiliar with this section of the show, What Gets Your Goat, this is a time when me and Jay and I, we shed the skin of niceness and we actually let our hair down and have a rant. So, George, there will be nothing about Brian and Hove Albion, I promise. But this is when we have a real rant about things that are annoying us in, excuse the fingers, the Magic community. Now, each week we bounce it off to each other. One week I ask, one week Jay asks. To keep it clean, to keep it tight, we work on a 10-minute countdown, so our rant only lasts that long. This week it's mine. Now I need to say something. I had one written from 2 weeks ago. I actually had it already, but I've abolished it and I've got a new one because it's just happened last night. Ha! Oh my Lord. Right, so here is my rant. Now, of course, this does not just transpire to the Magic community. This kind of happens in life, right? So I've been doing magic. I'm 55 now. I've been doing magic since I was 8 years old. I've had quite an illustrious career. Really, my main area is families and kids. I started off as a kids performer. After the street performing, I did Prince Harry's 3rd birthday party at Kingston Palace. And my career has been quite illustrious. Since I've been over here in Asia, I've run Geno's World, which is a large theatre tour show for families. We do 200 shows a year, sold over 1 million tickets. It's my thing. I've had 6 TV shows based purely for kids. It's my area. Now, somebody comes into one of the magic groups and saying, oh, I'm doing a favour for a friend. I've got some shows coming up and I've done one kid show before. Can someone give me a hand? Well, as normal in the Facebook magic groups, piles and piles of really unhelpful stuff, loads of really, really negative stuff like, oh, you shouldn't have taken the gig. Guys, put it down. He's doing it as a favour. It's free. It's just getting his toe in the water. So he wants to help everyone start somewhere. So I, and not blowing my own trumpet, I very kindly wrote in and said, I will help you. Not a problem. Best thing to do. You've got 30 minutes to do. Let's have a Zoom call and I will help you. Not a problem. No charge, nothing. Boom, 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 boom. So, time differences. I live in Asia. He's in America. Time differences are huge. He also works. You know, this is my job. When I'm in my studio, I'm here. So we arranged a time for last night, which was an incredibly, George, mic's off at the moment, doesn't matter. I was going to say, what time is it there now? But it's not important. It was an incredibly unsociable time for me. It was like 2 o'clock in the bloody morning. So I'd got up, I'd made sure I had some coffee. I even took my dogs down the river for a very late night walk. 2 hours before, I sent him a message and saying, right, dude, I'll send you a Zoom link soon. I got a response straight away saying, oh, thank you so much. 10 minutes before we are supposed to go live on this Zoom, I get a message. I'm busy. Can we do it another time? That was it. I'm busy. Can we do it another time? So I responded, no, I'm sorry, mate. I'm getting ready for the convention this weekend, so I'm pretty busy at the moment. We'd have to try and arrange another time next week. You see on the messengers, you know, you see when somebody's read the message, no response. I'm still sitting there. I waited half an hour, nothing, not a dicky bird, not a sausage. So then I wrote and I said, okay, sorry, mate, don't know what's going on, but I'm going to head off to bed. Went off to bed, woke up this morning, message has been seen and read, not a sausage, nothing. I don't need credit, but not even a sorry. Wow, I'm going to give my time for free to help someone. Not a thank you, sorry, mate, can't do it. Can we do another time? Nothing, not a dicky bird. Ooh, I am pissed off today. I'm tired and cranky. Jay.
That was the rant. You just didn't even start your timer. That was...
Yeah, no, I
you didn't need to start the timer.
Now, Jay, what do you feel about this? Yeah, good point, yeah. Okay. It's off now. So
I think, oh, now you start it. Oh my goodness. How do you respond to that? I mean, he's dying in Dicky Bird. Oh, look, I'm up at all hours of the morning. All hours of, I've got to, I do sessions at 3 a.m. I know, and again, I totally respect, George, that you're waking up at a, ungodly hour or whatever we want to call it. So yeah, I mean, anytime, look, basic courtesy. Number one, anytime, even a basic meeting. I so rarely will miss a Zoom meeting. I mean, I do hundreds of these, and I'm really German, Swiss time precision, very specific. But I did miss one a couple weeks ago for a new student. I mean, we set it up a week ahead of time. We marked it, but and some reason I didn't sync my phone calendar. And I missed it. I was literally, woke up and there was notes from him. And boy, I profusely apologized. Exactly. I was in the opposite. I was like, oh my goodness, I completely blanked, profusely apologized. Gave them a bunch of free things. I said, look, I'm bonusing a free hour to you. I'm really, really, totally mea culpa. So I bend over backwards in the rare situations where, number one, I would miss it. But in the same way, I find it incredibly rude that someone, especially if it's free, that you're offering free advice, that they're, it's like, come on, your advice could easily be considered worth $100 an hour minimum because it's professional from experience. And I think that's,
I can't believe it.
yeah, I'm blown away that anyone would be so rude. But then again, it's unfortunately the social media or on Facebook is a bit of an oxymoron, It's very unsocial as a rule.
What? Do you know what I hate though about this whole situation? Because I'm like you, I'm ridiculously punctual. It's like I was raised that way. And the thing is, off the back of this, because I posted this, oh yeah, I'll help you. I posted it in the group. I've actually had a number of other people with a similar situation asking me, would I mind doing a Zoom session with them too? Because they are, and here's the real rub on this one. Their exact words were, and I've had this 3 times in the last 2 days, we're a little bit, they're using the words afraid, embarrassed, don't want to, and any other sort of like adjectives you want to throw in there. We're embarrassed. We don't want to ask in the Facebook groups because we don't want to get attacked, which we've seen people do. So people are afraid to ask for help because they're getting attacked for this. The thing is, this morning after this happened, when I woke up, I was so cranky about this last night that I have now felt compelled to email to other people that I'm helping in the next couple of days and saying, do me a favor, if you have to cancel, can you please let me know? Because it's a very unsociable time for me. And it's just like, wow, I'm having to now write these things to other people saying, oh, if you got cancelled, can you let me know? And that, I find that bizarre. I have to ask for them to tell me if they're going to cancel. It's like, it's oh, wow, man. I find it strange. Oh, who's this? Ah, yeah, you see, look at that. The Asian of reason, or the reason of Asia. Look at that. Could it be he's pulled out of the gig? Actually speaking, he turned around and said he's busy. So no, I don't think that is the case. It was just he's busy. Now, fair play, again, playing total devil's advocate here. He could have suddenly got busy and suddenly have to, reschedule or whatever. But I do believe that there is a right way to do that and a wrong way to do that. And when someone's offering their time free and someone knows it's a very unsociable hour, that, they should at least acknowledge the fact, oh, dude, look, I'm sorry that you stayed up really late. I'm busy now. Please, can we reschedule? Anything. I didn't get a dicky bird, not a sausage, nothing at all. So that's what's really, thank you. There, Jeff.
100%. I'm agreeing with Jeff. Jeff's 2 words, common courtesy. Totally. Common courtesy. And in the same way, if, sometimes people will miss. I'm actually very flexible with my students. Sometimes 10, 15 minutes before, I'll get a message. Oh, I'm running late. I'm in traffic. Can we postpone? This has happened. Internet's out, whatever. But it is that, just, as you say, the worst thing is to sit. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joel. Be professional. Exactly. Come on. This is a professional meeting, whether you're paying for it or not. Someone's there to give you advice, I think, from both sides. It goes both ways. Whoever, if you're setting up the meeting, you're responsible. You've made your, common courtesy is you're there if there's an issue. So you have somewhat modern problems, but it's very valid. It's no different than having a meeting at the coffee shop with someone. You're going to go down, you're going to have coffee. You show up and you wait. You're just like, well, what the flip? I made an effort. I'm sitting here. I'm waiting for so yeah.
Now, one of my main ethos with the running of DeVille Magic, as far as a business goes, is the fact I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want it to be one of those companies where somebody sends an email and they're waiting 24 to 48 hours for some form of response. So I get my phone's bleeping in the middle of the night and I wake up and often I'm responding to messages in the middle of the night and then going straight back to sleep again, because that's the way I choose to do the service for the company. And, it's just, I find it really weird that, people nowadays, especially because we're living in such a woke culture now where people have to be so careful of what they say as offending, to offending people. I find that, common courtesy just doesn't, it's not around so much. Oh, I'm angry today. So angry.
I see that. You're like on fire. I'm watching the different feeds. I'm seeing how Zoom feed is picking up the. Oh, we're still in our rant. I'm sorry. Yeah, keep that rant going.
Yeah, we've got 3 more minutes. Actually, as you say, I'm over. Screw it. I'm turning the timer off. It's gone. Oh, no, it's back on again.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
I
was watching those comments as well to see somehow they go to the Zoom feed, but they don't translate when the comments pop up. They're not translating. It doesn't appear to the YouTube feed. So we're learning as we go. All right. So thank you for that. Very valid rant. Very valid. I think we all agree. Common courtesy. You make an appointment, come on, just keep it. Simple as that. So,
yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else you have at this point specifically relating to your amazing Geno 27?
No, I'm done now. Like I say, it was all a bit of a hish-hash today because of tech problems at the beginning. So we started late, and So as they say, I'm spent. Yes, indeed. All right, so there we go.
I'm gonna drop you to the gallery just for a moment, and I'll sort of fill everyone in. Here we go. Okay, so a funny thing happened on the way to Key West, this festival. Of course, I've known Frank as Geno's been there. The people who've been to the Key West, the Magic Bar, you know it, you get it. It truly is an extraordinary, amazing that when you think the amount, it has been open almost, I think 5 or 6 nights a week for 25 years. You calculate how many shows times how many shows he might give a night. Yeah, there's been breaks. As Geno said, he might fill in if he's sick. But this has been pretty much a nonstop story in Key West. So, a lot of people have been there. When I did a spotlight on with Frank a few months ago, he says, oh yeah, 25th anniversary coming up, plus it's his birthday. Now, I'm very aware of the history, not as much as I will be after I listen to some of the stories from Doc and Max. But it truly is one of the great success stories in magic, in the art, and the fact that it stretches straight back to Frank Sr. and just the absolute dawn, the birthplace, arguably, of bar magic, modern bar magic. This is such an important story. So along the way, I thought I had this great idea. I thought, all right, we're going to make a mini convention, celebrate this whole thing. And then I thought, well, we got to get people. So I had to offer, each person a certain amount of money. And I thought, well, right, calculating from the point of view, I thought if we get 50 people signing up at the rough $50 each, we'd pay everyone. Great, no worries. I didn't expect to make anything. It's just in service of the art. But as of a week ago, there were 10 people registered, and that's where both Michael and Doc and the others started saying, well, look, we don't need to get paid. Let's just make this, they came to me, because I was just like saying, well, I don't want to cancel it. Because to me, it's all about celebrating this with Frank. So they were the ones, out of the goodness of their hearts, they said, look, don't worry. He said, just refund the money of those who've paid. We're willing to do it also in service of the art. We want to be there to celebrate this amazing event and story. So Geno jumped on right away. I mentioned it to Geno. He said, absolutely. So we did this full shift over the last couple of days. We went, all right, I love this, because for me, it goes full circle anyway. I just wanted to have a chance to celebrate and bring these people in as part of this. So please spread the word. Again, we decided to still register through, if you haven't registered, we're still registering it through DeVille Magic. That way we don't just get random people, popping off the proverbial sidewalk. But it's shaping up, boy, just Max Howard is a living legend. If you haven't heard of him, he's just an Emmy award-winning actor, magician who worked with Frank at the Magic Bar back in the 60s and 70s. He's got 1,000 stories to share. Doc Eason knew Frank when Frank was young. Doc is obviously another living legend of bar magic. He'll share stories and anecdotes, maybe some effects as well from his years at the Tower Bar. Now, he's got a book coming out, so he's going to start teasing us about that. So a lot of things happening. Yeah, free with those guests. Yeah. The beauty of it is it's somewhat open. Again, this is like a rather than setting exact times and I'm setting a rough schedule, but it's very flexible because it has to do with Q&A and people interacting. And it's like I was messaging one of my friends just today about it. I said, hey, this is happening. He says, oh, yeah, I was there performing in 2013. And I said, dude, you're an alumni. You got to come. We want to hear the stories of those who've been there. So that was this complete switchover. And, that's the nature of adapting to changing circumstances. But now, as Geno said, all of a sudden the numbers are way up. We have, I think, 30 or 40 people registered. We can fit 80 in the Zoom room. So far, the test, I'm watching YouTube. So far, the test to overflow onto YouTube is working. So on one hand, I appreciate everyone taking the time and sort of doing this little guinea pig test with us because we had to get through the alternate systems. And as I said before, there is some time. The link you get, I believe, is for Sunday, but we will send out a final reminder with the Saturday link as well, or message me on Facebook for that. Or there is a Facebook page, just also the Facebook page for the convention. So it's all good.
Can I just ask,
please.
it's all going to be very open and stuff? Because I put 2 tickets, I said to Geno earlier, I put 2 tickets through earlier, one for me and one for my partner. We can use the same link, I assume?
Yes. The Saturday link will be different, but I can give that, again, I'll give that to you either directly or we'll send that. I think Geno will send out a final email like 12 or 24 hours ahead of time, just as a reminder with a rough schedule.
Geno, you and I speak a lot anyway. So
exactly.
That's awesome.
So one of the
it's
unknowns.
It's just my partner. I wanted to get him involved, that's all.
Yeah. Well, we're on it. Basically, from here, we're counting down 48 hours to the event. Or whatever it is, 48, 60. One of the other issues along the way is we lost our main cameraman who was supposed to be in the bar filming everything. So now John Johnson, he just backed out. He sort of all of a sudden at the last minute said, oh, you have to pay me all this money to do it. And at that point, I was like, there is no money. We're all doing it for fun. I can't come out with $1,000 out of my own pocket to pay a cameraman in Key West. So that's just the nature of being a producer. But John Johnson has his brand new razzle dazzle iPhone 13 that he's going to break out. And so he will be doing some of the camera work and live feed. Hopefully he'll walk us a bit around Key West. Again, I have this idea that he can just walk us outside, walk down the main street in Key West, give us an idea for those who haven't been there, what a unique space it is. So anyway, that's a quick overview of what is happening. And again, times and details. Go ahead, George.
No, I just said thank you. That's all. I was just curious.
You betcha. We look forward to seeing you there. And again, I appreciate you waking up so early to join us on this. I do that all the time. I know how hard it is. You're just sitting in bed going, oh, coffee, coffee.
I have the week off work now anyway. So I'm a week off work now, so I'm okay. I've got the next few days, just I can sleep.
Cool. Well, please spread the word about this. Again, that was limited on Zoom, but the YouTube link that will be open to anyone. So it's really just sharing and celebrating together.
I booked a ticket for me and maybe.
Fantastic.
For the Zoom,
Good.
hopefully.
Okay. Well, again, just let people know. to share the word. We're still getting people now jumping in. I'm hoping we're going to get like some surprise guests spots from like Bill Malone and others who may just come in just as a surprise. I'm putting the word out to a few people. I've known Whit Hayden, or Pop Hayden, as he's known now. I've known him for 40 years. You know, he may jump on for, you know, just as a surprise guest. Another great bar magic. He does bar magic at the Magic Castle all the time. So we're leaving a lot of room open for improv. It can run longer. You know, if we get rolling on something, we'll just keep it open. We're recording all the main events like we are with this. So, you know, I'm sure we'll get a lot of priceless stories and just lots of fun in a fairly relaxed kind of Key West.
Man. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you, George. Okay, so Geno, I'm bringing you back. I just wanted to quickly, you're coming back.
Hello. I've just been having
anyone
a nose.
Else have any questions while we're sort of in this open discussion?
Yeah. How much was the thing again?
It's free. Is that Jeff?
What website do you have to go to?
Oh, I think you're already registered, though, aren't you, Jeff?
You
registered to this before.
Can you just tell us what the website is?
Well, it's Geno. It's DeVilleMagic.net. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. No, I've got my actual little. Hold on. Oh, it's here. It's that. There we go. DeVilleMagic.net. Ka-chow. Oh yeah. And look, I mean, I got this cool little Key West roving thing. I built this cool little thing for it. Oh yeah, magic. Gingy. I'm hoping we're gonna get Gingy coming in for a special thing. Gingy. We got that. So Geno, anything else from you, sir?
No, senor. No. I think that's well wrapped up. That's absolutely awesome. So thank you, everybody, for joining us again in this, inaugural episode on a different platform. It's kind of Trey Bizarre seeing you all at the top there, you know. So it's very, very groovy, and you see, it's different. You know, you've got Yip in his spaceship. You know, Joel and George just kind of lying down on the bed. And then, of course, Mr. David with the sort of like I'm intently listening. Yes, hello, sort of thing going on. It's very creepy. Yeah, back at you, baby. Back at you.
Well, that's it. We're kind of moving up through the new format. I'll second that. Again, thanks, everyone, for sort of joining us on this first shot of this. There will be lots of specials. Everyone's going to be running specials. Michael Amar's got a lot of products, and so there will be dealers breakout rooms. Again, somewhat informal. I decided not to bring on actual dealers, because then you end up with just magic shops and stuff that you can get their stuff online anyway. Whereas Doc is setting up to do private sessions. Michael Amar is setting up to do private sessions. I mean, training, literally Zoom sessions with them. So I'm helping them with their OBS and their setup so they can more effectively do that. So we're using this as a springboard.
Do they cost anything? Those sessions, do they cost anything?
What's that?
The private sessions with Doc and
the breakout sessions on the day on Sunday are free. There's no extra. That's just like going to a breakout room, a Zoom breakout. As far as private training sessions with them, that's simply you negotiate directly with them. And my guess is they may do, we'll do some specials. All of us will run a handful of specials for everyone who's there. Mm-hmm. Frank Everhart, of course, everyone who's sort of involved with this. So, all right. Good. I think that settles it. Are we good, Geno?
That pretty much wraps things up. Yeah, that pretty much wraps things up from my end. So, well, it's what day is it? Thursday today. So see you all at the weekend.
So thank you both. I might go back to bed now.
Yeah, go back to bed, get some rest. Thank you, Geno. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate. We had just everyone jumping in. Really appreciate your support on our first test of this Zoom session. So all good. And
thank you, guys.
We are okay. We are flying out. Somewhere my music is. Where'd the music screen go? I've lost it. Oh, yes.